everyone. Welcome back to The Learning Lab, where English is easy and enjoyable. I'm James, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Jenny. And today is a very special day because we are on day 23 of our 30-day shadowing challenge. And if you have been with us since day one, wow, I just want to say I am so proud of you. Seriously, give yourself a big clap right now.
Yes, day 23. We are so close to the finish line. And honestly, if you are still here, still showing up, still practicing your English every single day, that tells me something very important about you. It tells me that you are serious, you are dedicated, and you are going to make it.
And hey, before we jump in today, if you are new here, first of all, hello! Welcome! We are so happy you found us. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button right now, because every single day of this challenge, we bring you new content to help you practice your English, and you do not want to miss a single episode. Trust me.
Okay, so James, today's topic. Today we are talking about something that so many English learners struggle with, something that I think is even harder than grammar or vocabulary, and that is how to speak English with confidence.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. Confidence. Just saying that word makes me feel something, you know? Because I remember, and I have told this story before, but bear with me. I remember the first time I had to speak in front of a group of people in a language I was still learning, and I froze, like a deer in headlights. My mouth opened, no words came out, and I just stood there looking like a very confused goldfish.
A confused goldfish. Okay, that is very specific, James.
I mean, it is the most accurate description I have. My eyes were wide, my mouth was opening and closing, and nothing was happening, just like a goldfish. And I think so many of our learners know exactly what that feels like, right? You know the words in your head, you have studied, you have practiced, but the moment someone is looking at you and waiting for you to speak, everything disappears.
Right, and this is actually a really well-known thing in psychology. It's called performance anxiety, and it doesn't just happen with language learning. It happens with music, with sports, with public speaking. But for language learners, I think it's especially difficult because you're not just worried about what to say, you're also worried about how to say it, about your accent, about your grammar, about whether people will understand you.
Exactly. It's like a double pressure, right? It's not just, do I have something to say? It's also, will my English be good enough for people to understand me? And that second question, that fear of not being understood or of making mistakes, that is what really kills confidence for so many people.
And I think the first thing we need to say, and I want to say this very clearly, is that making mistakes is not a sign that your English is bad. Making mistakes is a sign that you're using English, that you're trying, that you're in the game. And that's actually a really good thing.
Oh, 100%. And you know what? I want to use an analogy here because I love a good analogy. You know when a baby is learning to walk, they fall down like 100 times a day, right? And nobody looks at that baby and says, oh no, this baby is terrible at walking. Maybe walking is just not for them. Nobody says that. Everyone cheers. Everyone says, look at you, you're trying so hard. Keep going.
Okay, I love that.
And I think we need to give ourselves the same energy when we're learning English. Every mistake is just a little fall on the way to walking perfectly. And eventually, you will walk, and then you'll run. And one day, you won't even think about how you're doing it. It'll just happen naturally.
That's a beautiful way to put it, James, and it connects directly to what we know about how the brain learns language. There's research that shows that when people are afraid of making mistakes, they actually speak less. And when they speak less, they practice less. And when they practice less, they improve less. So the fear itself becomes the biggest obstacle to getting better.
So the fear actually makes the problem worse. That's kind of a scary thought, isn't it? Like the thing you're afraid of happening is more likely to happen because you're afraid of it. It's like a cycle, a loop that keeps going around and around.
Exactly. And the only way to break that cycle is to start speaking even when you feel scared, even when you feel not ready, even when your heart is beating fast and your palms are a little sweaty and you're thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no.
The oh no feeling, yes. I know that feeling very well. Okay, so let's talk about some real practical things, things that our learners can actually do to start building confidence when they speak English. Because I think people need concrete steps, not just encouragement, right?
Right, and that's exactly what today's shadowing practice is going to help with. But before we get to the shadowing exercise, let's talk about the mindset side of things, because I really believe that confidence starts in your head before it comes out of your mouth.
Okay, say more. What do you mean by that?
So, what I mean is, a lot of learners think, I'll feel confident when my English is perfect. But that's actually backwards. Confidence doesn't come after you're good. Confidence comes from trying, from doing the thing even when it's hard, from showing up every day and practicing. And the feeling of confidence grows slowly over time because you have evidence, real evidence, that you're improving.
Oh, that is so good. It's like you can't wait to feel ready, because that feeling never comes on its own. You have to go and do the scary thing first, and then the confidence comes as a reward for doing it.
Exactly. And this is why our 30-day challenge is so powerful, because every day you practice, you're adding to that evidence. You're building a history of, I showed up, I did it, I got through it. And over time, that history becomes your confidence.
I love that. Your history becomes your confidence. Jenny, can I just say, sometimes the things you say are genuinely very wise, and I am always a little surprised because you say them so casually, like it is nothing.
Thank you, James, I think. Okay, let's talk about something specific. One of the biggest things that makes people feel unconfident when they speak English is worrying about their accent. And I want to address this because I think it is really important.
Yes, the accent thing. This is huge. So many people feel embarrassed about their accent. They feel like their accent makes them sound less intelligent or less educated, or like people will not take them seriously. And I want to say that is simply not true. And also, your accent is part of who you are.
Right. And here is a really interesting thing. Research actually shows that people who speak with a foreign accent are often perceived as more interesting, more worldly, more experienced than people who only speak one language. Because speaking with an accent means you speak another language, and that is genuinely impressive.
Wait, really? I had no idea that was an actual finding. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. If someone has an accent, it means they learned another language, which is hard, which takes dedication and intelligence. But I never thought about it that way.
Yes. So instead of being ashamed of your accent, you can actually feel proud of it. Because your accent is proof that you did something difficult, that you learned a whole new language, and that is something to celebrate, not hide.
Okay, I love that reframe so much. From now on, I think every learner should think of their accent as a badge of honor, like a little medal that says, I am a language learner and I am brave enough to try.
Okay, badge of honor. I like it. Now, let's talk about another practical thing, the power of slowing down. Because one thing I notice with a lot of learners is that when they feel nervous, they speak very fast, like they want to get the words out as quickly as possible so the scary moment is over sooner.
Oh my goodness, yes. I used to do this all the time. When I was nervous, I would just word vomit everything out as fast as I could, and then I would be standing there out of breath, and the other person would be looking at me like, I understood maybe 30% of that.
Word vomit. That is very descriptive, James. Thank you for that image. But yes, speaking too fast is a really common problem when people are nervous. And the truth is, speaking slowly actually makes you sound more confident, not less. Because when you speak slowly, people can understand you. You have time to think, and you feel more in control of what you are saying.
And this is actually one of the most important things that shadowing teaches you, because when you shadow, you learn to match the rhythm and the speed of the speaker. And good speakers do not speak super fast all the time. They pause, they breathe, they let the important words land. And when you practice that every day, it starts to become natural for you too.
Exactly. And speaking of shadowing, let's talk about what we are going to practice today, because I think today's exercise is going to be really, really valuable for building confidence specifically.
Okay, I'm excited. Tell us what we're doing today, Jenny.
So today's shadowing exercise is going to focus on short, confident phrases, things you can use in real conversations to sound clear, calm, and sure of yourself, even when you're not completely sure of yourself on the inside.
Oh, faking it till you make it, essentially.
Well, kind of, but I prefer to call it acting confident until you feel confident, because acting confident actually changes how your brain feels over time. It's not fake, it's practice, just like any other skill.
Okay, I can get behind that. It's not faking, it's practicing. I love it. All right, everyone, so here's what we want you to do. We're going to say some phrases slowly and clearly, and we want you to repeat after us, shadow us, copy our rhythm, our speed, our tone. Really try to sound confident as you say these phrases, even if it feels silly at first.
And it might feel a little silly at first, and that's completely okay. Learning new things often feels a little strange at first, but that strange feeling goes away with practice, so just keep going, keep repeating, and don't judge yourself.
All right, here we go. First phrase. I would like to share my thoughts on this.
Say it again with us. I would like to share my thoughts on this.
Notice how that phrase sounds calm and clear. It's not aggressive, it's not apologetic, it's just confident and direct. And that tone is what we're going for today.
Next phrase. That is a great question. Let me think about it for a moment.
Oh, I love this one so much because it gives you a little time to think without making you look unsure. It actually makes you look thoughtful, which is a great thing to look like in a conversation.
Exactly. Buying yourself 2 seconds of thinking time while sounding totally composed.
Next one. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe. And this is great because it's honest. It doesn't pretend you know everything, but it still moves the conversation forward with confidence.
Yes, and I think this is something that really helps learners because they often feel like they can't speak unless they're certain about everything they're saying. But native speakers say, I believe, and I think, and I'm not totally sure, but all the time. Nobody speaks with perfect certainty about everything.
That's such a good point. Permission to be uncertain and still speak, that's what we're giving you today.
One more phrase for today. Could you say that again, please? I want to make sure I understand.
Yes, this one. This phrase is so powerful because so many learners are afraid to ask people to repeat themselves. They think it makes them look bad. But actually, asking for clarification shows that you care about understanding, and that's a sign of intelligence, not weakness.
Completely agree. And in many professional and academic settings, asking for clarification is actually considered very good communication. It shows that you are paying attention and that you take the conversation seriously.
Okay, everyone, so let's just do a quick recap of what we talked about today, because there's a lot of good stuff in here and I want to make sure it all sticks. Number 1, making mistakes is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're trying, and trying is the only way to get better.
Number 2, confidence doesn't come before you start. It grows as you practice, so you have to start first and the confidence will follow.
Number 3, your accent is not something to be ashamed of. It's a badge of honor that says you're a language learner and you're doing something really hard and impressive.
Number 4, slow down when you speak. Speaking slowly makes you sound more confident, gives you time to think, and helps people understand you better.
And number 5, use confident phrases to help you feel in control of the conversation. Phrases like the ones we practiced today can be your secret weapon when you feel nervous.
I love that, your secret weapon. And you know what else is a secret weapon? Showing up every single day to practice, which is exactly what you are doing, and which is why by day 23, you are already so much better than you were on day 1, even if you haven't noticed it yet.
Oh, that's so true. And sometimes progress is hard to see when you're in the middle of it. Like you can't see how far you've walked when you're still walking, you know? But trust me, you have come so far. And day 30 is right around the corner. And when you get there, I promise you, you're going to look back and feel amazed at how much you've grown.
We are so proud of every single one of you, and we'll be right here tomorrow for day 24. So make sure you come back, keep practicing, keep showing up for yourself.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Come on, hit that button, join our Learning Lab family, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Keep going. You're doing amazing.